Hello, welcome to another episode of the Menswear Style Podcast. I'm your host, Pete Brooker. Today, great episode for you today, talking to the co-founders of Be Inspired, Stephen, Robb and Mark Corcoran. These gentlemen are ex-professional football players. In 2013, they hung up their boots and embarked on a journey to change the landscape of streetwear. From their humble beginnings as a bedroom brand, they've dedicated every day to becoming the industry leaders in fit, feel and quality. And you can check out all of the clothes, jeans, hoodies, tees and more over on the website beinspiredclothing.com, and be spelled B-E-E. All the links over at menswearstyle.co.uk, but in their own words, here are Stephen, Robb and Mark Corcoran to talk about the brand.
I think what we're looking to do is build on our brand story, which is quite unique. Coming from a football background, that we've always been interested in fashion and what guys were wearing in the dressing room in and around the football. So we kind of we always think of ourselves maybe like that athleisure, like lifestyle brand of like you can wear the stuff to like football and training and with that sportswear element, with also an element of our stuff being suitable for like that everyday wear of like jeans and jackets and hoodies, kind of a little bit of something for everyone. But with that,
almost you can wear it to play sport, but you're calling it like say football. You can wear it to play football, but then we've also got product to wear to watch the football as well. That's
cool. And you gentlemen were footballers on the same team back in the day?
Almost a crossover, but basically I left St Mirren and then Stephen came to play for St Mirren, but we play in the same position, so it was a bit of a
there's no rivalry there.
No,
it's almost like we were all we kind of ended up in the same circle of friends,
right?
So it kind of started from there. As after training, Mark was still playing in Glasgow for Partick Thistle, and I was at St Mirren based in Paisley, so we'd meet up after training. There'd be a group of us, like kind of a coffee club, and we'd just be going from like just discussing ideas for after what we were going to do after football. We were kind of late 20s at that stage, knowing that football wasn't going to last forever, especially playing in Scotland. There's not that opportunity to just retire when you finish playing that maybe you get when you're playing in English Premiership.
Yeah. It's interesting when. So I'm in my 40s now, but when you're in your 20s and you're making a go of it and you kind of have that fearlessness of being young and indestructible, you never really put too much track in front of you for the rest of your life because you're just kind of focused in on what's going on now. So when I was in my 20s, I was in bands going up and down the country and not really giving a crap about anything else, especially not making plans for my 30s and 40s. I'm just curious how are footballers now more focused on laying plans for when they get into their post 30s and 40s? Are they more conscious of it now, do you think, than they were when you guys were around?
To be honest, no, I don't think so, mate. I think football's like you were saying, I think
it's very in the moment.
Yeah, I think it's a funny thing because you do get paid quite well for what you do. Like obviously I'm not certainly not anything to retire on in Scotland, but when you're in it, you're getting paid a decent wage and you've got a decent life. So you're not really thinking about what's happening next. You're just like you're going contract to contract, really, like just like I'm playing football, I'm living the dream a little bit. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't all plain sailing, but it was a good life. You grew up wanting to do that. You get to run about, exercise, kick a ball about for a living. You're not really thinking, what am I going to do in the future? You're just like, can I make this last as long as possible? So I don't think people, because it's such a good living, a good job, you're not really thinking about the future because you're like, oh, it's not going to be as good. And I think a lot of people think, well, I'll just try and stay in football. I'll go coaching or I'll do my badges or I'll coach kids. But when you come to the end of your career, you realise, well, coaching kids isn't really going to keep paying you what you're getting paid. And there's very few players go from playing football to coaching and managing. It's not as easy as you think, obviously. It's quite difficult, and I think the pressure of managing. There's
more players than coaches as well.
People know, and players know what players are like. They're like, I don't know what to manage myself. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm
like.
Yeah, I think we were there was probably 5 of us that got together, and we were just starting to sort of think, like, one of them actually went on to play for Crystal Palace and do really well in his career, and another boy went down.
Wales, didn't he?
Yeah, played for Wales.
Andy Dorman.
Mark Howard went down to South, and he played for Sheffield United and Blackpool, so he did well in his career.
Steve
McGinn as well.
For Sheffield United.
So basically, me and Robb were the rubbish ones.
Yeah, I never actually thought that before. One of the guys, Stephen McGinn, that we'd hang about with, his brother's John McGinn.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've heard the names. I'm just trying to place them face-wise. But I mean, surely the best gig, I always think of this for footballers, is to, rather than go into coaching, is just go straight into commentary, because you don't have all the pressure of having to answer to people and being worried about your job. You're about 5 games away from being sacked at any point. So if you're just Jamie Carragher on Match of the Day, you're still riding that gravy train right into the sunset.
I think boys, like, look at Chris Boyd, man. He said one thing wrong and everyone's slaughtering him. Do you know what I mean? So I think you still have that. You have to be. I think commentating's quite difficult in a way, because you have to say stuff controversial to get engagement, but you can't say anything too controversial. And Chris Boyd's not meant, like, as a footballer, you know what he means, but like, punters have taken it the wrong way. I think he's obviously just meant getting about him, like, put a bit of pressure on him, like Old Firm. He basically said something about McGregor's mask, saying they never tested his mask, and obviously it comes across really bad. But he's just meant, like, getting about him. Do you know what I mean? Put a bit of pressure on him, come across really badly.
He's played with a double fracture.
He played with a fracture. And I think he's come out and said, look, he's phoned me. He said, look, I apologise for what I said. So,
That's interesting. Yeah, I think if you like. Well, Roy Keane kind of wants to say things controversial all the time, I think. But you can just tell with the likes of Roy Keane, he's shooting from the hip. He did as a player. That tackle that he left on, was it Chris Haaland? Where he did his... Inga Haaland, sorry, yeah. I mean, he wrote about it in his book and just said, look, I'm going to end this guy's career when he gets back on the pitch. He pretty much did it. And he's just carried on being Roy Keane, like, as a commentator. So you just know that he is just... Anyway, going off on a bit of a tangent.
Him and Jamie Carragher arguing makes great telly.
It does. So I think maybe this is what you guys need, is a bit of controversy. Maybe a couple of social media videos where you're having arguments in the office, and then you can just...
we argue all the time, mate. Don't worry about that
a little bit.
So what is that dynamic like? So you're good friends, obviously, and have been, like, through your playing career. Well, what's it like now, I guess 9 or 10 years into the relationship of the business?
Similar. We're pretty similar. We've, like, Mark's still trying to play football at an amateur level, still kidding himself on it 40 odd. But we've both developed a passion for golf. Me simply because I've got a bad knee that I can't actually play can't twist and turn and run anymore. So I'm able to play golf. So it kind of, like, away from the business, it's like we've got a shared interest as well.
I think as well, like, business-wise, we're both very similar people. So, yeah, we will bicker and we will argue about things, which I think is healthy. But then, coming from that football background, you don't hold a grudge. Do you know what I mean? You come in after a game and the manager would go mental and people would be arguing with each other, but you're all in it together to try and get a result. So then by the time the next week comes, you're all together to try and get that result again. And I think that's sort of what we've incorporated in our businesses.
We've both got the same goal, I think. Yeah. And I think we've always had the same goal, so we align with each other in the business. So it's like, that's what our targets are, so that's where we need to get to. So that's probably, our football background's probably helped us subconsciously, and like you say, thick skinned, can, like, take criticism, like, just, like, driven, like, to succeed sort of thing. So that's kind of what we've taken into the business. Right,
interesting. And you guys now, how did the capital come about for getting the brand off the ground? I think I read some stories about, it might have been you, Stephen, that you were wrapping up so many parcels during your lunch break on another job, and then was that you? Sorry, Mark, it was you.
No, that was me. He was living the life in Thailand, and I was wrapping all their orders. So
I was based in Bangkok. I was playing football there for 3 years, so I started making friends with suppliers, and I just was interested in, like, on my days off, and not even my days off, just even in the evenings, going and looking on the market stalls and doing a bit of research. And
right, because we were looking for something. We were looking for that sort of business idea. Like, I was still in touch with Stephen a lot, and he was over there, and we were both like, there must be something in Thailand that we don't have here, and that's the way we were sort of thinking at the time. It didn't transpire like that because it's clothes everywhere, and so he was obviously had that in his mind when he was looking.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
So I'd be sending stuff back to Mark, and he'd be like sell. That's how the business initially started. Is we decided, like, come on, let's start our own brand. It took a bit of convincing. Probably both of us were like, right, okay, let's give it a go. So we initially started with like £300 each, and we made four designs of t-shirts. But because I was friends with the manufacturers, I was able to get really low numbers. So it was like a graphic printed on a plain white t-shirt. Made the labels inside.
Designed them on our phones.
Nice.
And it was a case of just like ship them back DHL. They're here in a couple of days. And Mark, we'd set up like a big cartel website that we'd done ourselves, and then we just started selling them on like Facebook and Twitter to people, try to promote them. And me and Mark were still in decent shape then, so we were kind of like promoting them as if we were wearing them. So,
right, okay.
if it was maybe a wee bit easier, we were kind of the models to begin with. But we're definitely not doing that now.
And so
one of the things as well we got a bit lucky was with Stephen knowing the supplier over there. We were actually sending like images that we had designed on our phones, and he's like, if you sent that to if you didn't know the supplier and sent it to a real supplier, like, I'm not printing that, because it wasn't like of good enough quality. But because he was friends, he's like, well, I'll try and print that for you. And obviously he made a decent enough job of it. It wasn't perfect by any means, and obviously the quality's come on a million times. It's looking back on some of the stuff we made, we're like, that's mental, we made that. But it just got you off the ground. It was just like people say, you're just kind of hustling and just trying to get selling some stuff and then using that money to buy more stuff, and we got better and better and better as time went on. So
we just, for the first few years, we were just reinvesting all the capital. Just anything we sold went straight back in the business. For the first, when I came back to Scotland, and moved back in to Mark's flat. So we were running the business for 10 months from Mark's flat.
Sleeping on my living room floor.
Sleeping on the living room floor, just in like stock. So still working with the factories in Thailand, basically just ordering stock. And once we maybe sold half the, so our orders had quite quickly increased to 100 pieces of a style and then we'd order like, once they sold half, we'd order another batch and add in a new design. And I think me and Mark were probably lucky that we were still playing semi-pro, so we still had a bit of income coming in, and we both had a job in recruitment in the city. So we'd walk to our week would literally be like Monday to Friday, working 9 to 5, and then we train twice a week, game on the Saturday, and any spare minute we had would be inspired time. So.
And do you still have some of the original designs, some of the original tees knocking around?
Yeah, I think we've got a couple, didn't we?
A customer actually sent us one that still had the tag on it.
Nice.
He'd said that he's got it, it's just, it doesn't fit me or whatever, but it had just been sitting in his cupboard. So literally sent it back. It's sitting in the office just now. I've got a couple in my cupboard as well, actually.
That's really cool. So, I mean, you've already got an archive now. I mean, you're coming up to about 10 years, so you've got your archive starting with that one.
Great hits there.
Yeah.
And do you have now like an idea of where it's going in the future in terms of the designs? I know you said you're into golf now, Stephen. You've got a golfing range on the website. Is there other plans to kind of develop ranges in different subgenres?
I think we've kind of like, it was kind of like all amalgamated a little bit about sporty, kind of casual, whereas now we're kind of splitting it a little bit more. So we've actually got a tailored sportswear collection. So it's like fitted tops and training wear. And the thing I think that sets apart from other people is it's like fashion as well. So it doesn't just look good. Sorry, it isn't just functional for the gym. It actually looks good as well. So yeah, you can wear it to the gym and it's functional, but you can also wear it out with the gym, because I feel as though that's quite a big trend now, is like gym wear, sportswear that people are wearing because they want to look comfortable and sort of like smart at the same time, if you know what I mean. So a bit like you're saying, like athleisure, active wear. So we've really sort of focused on making nice designs in that space, and then obviously we've got like our jeans, jackets, and hoodies, and sort of lounge wear that has sort of been our staple for a long time.
Replicating kind of the quality we had from our jeans and our tracksuits and our t-shirts, but replicating that quality into the sportswear as well. Right. So I think we were down in Manchester. We've got a sales agent down in Manchester, and when we went in the showroom last week, it just stood out like a sore thumb. This sportswear on the rail, because it was different. but like the quality was
really
amazing.
good,
Quality's brilliant.
and we always want to have the brand sort of attached to sport, like especially because we came from football, and it was kind of like that was kind of what we did. Like, styling is like fitted sort of athleisure clothing, because like that's kind of what football tops and football strips and tracksuits sort of fitted like, and that's what we wanted to take into sort of streetwear, if you will.
Right. I think it's interesting how now, I don't know if it's just me, but guys in general now are more conscious of looking good when they're working out. Like for me, back in the day, it was all about clothes that I'd work out in, that I'd go to the boxing gym in, would all be the stuff that I'd just wear on the construction site. You know, it's like, well, I didn't want to get any new tees dirty, and I didn't want to have to go out and buy new stuff to work out in. So it's okay, I can just wear this that's got 10 holes in. And, you know, and then that would just then become something that I'd bleed the radiator with. You know, I'd get as much use as I can out of one tee. But I don't know when it changed, but guys now are more enthused about wearing stuff that they're going to work out in. It almost inspires them to work out because they now have the right gear, and they have like the quality gear to go out and do that. Do you think that?
Guys going to the gym and stuff see it as a social thing as well now. It's not just like, oh, I'm just going to work out. They, especially in the last couple of years with COVID and stuff, like they want to interact with people, so they want to look good and feel good when they're in the gym.
Yeah.
Or not even just in the gym, at training.
They probably go to like nice gyms, like, do you know what I mean? There's like David Lloyd and like DW and like
JD.
There's probably members of the opposite sex in the gym as well, so they're both trying to look good for each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just turn it, because you know that maybe there's like girls at the gym, so you don't just want to turn up looking like a bag of washing now. So it's like it's like Stevie says, it's almost more of a social, a bit like kind of a bit of peacocking in the gym. Do you know what I mean? You're going there to look good, to work out, kind of strut about, maybe get a wee coffee after, and then you're up the road. But yeah, I think it's like
Up the road.
I think it's just like
That's how it's done, guys. That's how it's done. Easy as that.
back in the day, like,
just where be inspired and go to the gym, and then you get a coffee, you go up the road.
which isn't a euphemism, by the way. It's literally just up the road. But it is interesting now that I think about it. The guys that are really in shape that I see in the gym are never wearing any crap or anything that's kind of oversized or, you know, stuff that looks 20 years old. You know, it's all that. I think if you are serious about your fitness, you do pay as much attention now to what you're wearing down the gym. And like you say, guys, you know that people are watching you more, you know, more eyeballs on you, more photos being taken all the time. So I kind of
that's the key point. I think more photos getting taken all the time now. Yeah. Camera phones are so accessible now compared to what they were 20 years ago. Then like people are always like conscious of like, oh, somebody's there to take a photo. Like everybody wants to look the best they can.
I think that's the point. I was going to make a point there. I think like obviously like going to the gym, like healthy body, healthy mind's great and stuff like that. But I think maybe a lot of people went to the gym before for other reasons, where now I think it's to look good. Do you know what I mean? People are going to the gym to look good. So like they're going to wear stuff that makes them look good while they're trying to look good, if you know what I mean, like in the gym trying to work out. So yeah, I think it kind of goes hand in hand a bit more now.
Because I think like the other product offering, we've got the jeans and the hoodies and jackets and stuff. It's still of that same feel and mold. So if the guys look good in the gym wearing the sportswear stuff, they know what they're almost going to get from our stuff, our day wear and our evening wear. So like I think that's why we've got so many repeat customers.
So what is the through? Sorry, Mark. Yeah, what is the through line there? Is it the fit that's the same in terms of the jeans and the tees and the hoodies, or is it kind of the designs that's the same?
I feel like a tailored sort of fit as well. We obviously do some more looser things as well, but we've tried to have that sort of like tailored sort of feel without actually getting it tailored. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it fits nice. It's like it's not like hanging off you. Like it kind of fits the shape of your body a little bit as well. So
all the products have got plenty of stretch in them to give that feel as well.
Yeah.
So if something's like, oh, it's a bit like too big or a bit tight, it's still like the feel of the product still makes it like fit in that way.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's interesting.
Maybe online as well, he did that purposely. So you're sending things out, if they don't have any stretching, they're going to come straight back. So as an online company, we've factored in stretch into our product that, it might be sometimes a little bit snug in certain places, but it stretches and obviously it just fits you nicely.
think last year we were on like 8 or 9% returns, which is
wow, that's really low. Yeah, I used to work in an independent fashion shop just outside of Cambridgeshire. Me and my best mate from school set it up, and listeners to the podcast would have heard this story 1,000 times. But the worst thing you'd see is a postman coming back through the door in the morning with the return parcels. It would just, but we.
And even if it is only 9%, it's still a bit like nice, is it?
Yeah, you never like seeing the guy. You know, you can't shoot the messenger, but you do just want to tell him to hit the bricks and take the parcel with him. But yeah, so but our return percentage, we were dealing with other brands that kind of that are notoriously come up small. I won't be able to say them in here, but the label brands, the household name brands, they were kind of all off of their sizing. So one over here would typically come up small, whereas another over there, you'd probably have to go up a size where it might kind of sit in the middle. So having confidence in a brand, like you were saying earlier, having, repeat customers that know what they're getting in terms of fit and size, whether it's a hoodie or a pair of jeans, having confidence as a buyer, especially online, is key.
Sure.
Yeah. Gents, I've got a last question about fitness, if you don't mind, before you go. So, like, how old are you, gents, now, if you don't mind me asking?
39.
39. 40. Okay. So, yeah, I'm 43. And I always figure that, like footballers especially, they kind of go either way with their fitness when they retire. It's like, well, has the discipline now kind of bled in so much that you just have it as a way of life where you get up and do 20 laps around the track in the morning? Or do you treat it like a 15-year-old does with algebra? Now that you're in your 30s, there's no need to learn algebra anymore. So you just kind of knock it on the head and, just get a bit comfortable in life. What's the secret? And you guys, I think you guys are more into the fitness element, obviously, but what's the secret to kind of really just having the mindset to stay fit?
I think it's just
I'm still quite body conscious.
Yeah,
I think if I get if there goes a period where there's like 3 weeks and I've actually not done nothing and I actually physically notice it, I'll then train for the next 3 weeks and then take my foot off the gas a wee bit. I'm still a bit like this.
Yeah.
I do go through stages of there's a block of a month I'm just going to train, and then for the next month I'll not, and then it'll get to the summer I'm playing golf, so I'm walking loads. So it does just staying active is probably the thing that keeps me going.
I think that the one thing I do miss I don't really miss playing football because we've got what we've got, but one thing I do miss is being really fit. I like being fit. Like I still try to, like Stephen says, I'm still trying to play football like with my mates and that, and like I like to be the fittest there. I like to be fit, and like even when I played football, like that sort of like I could run all day. I mean, that was a thing that I was sort of good at. It's like, yeah, I'm very body conscious as well. Do you know what I mean? I want to keep myself looking decent, probably quite a bit vain. You know what I mean? But yeah, I want to keep myself looking good. I want to keep fit. I want to be able to do things and be active. So I think that's kind of
yeah.
Neither of us really sit about. We're not really people that lie about or sit about or relax too much, to be honest.
I'm not one for just sitting all day and like on my day off and just watching TV or whatever. I'm not on the go. I've got a 14-year-old kid who's football daft and try to get him into golf as well. And then literally like
my missus gives me a hard time all the time. She's like, you never just sit down and do nothing. Like you never stop. You're always like 100 miles an hour, which isn't a good thing, but it's just sort of sometimes that's
and then you just take your shirt off and go, well, this doesn't grow on trees, sweetheart. You got to keep it on moving.
Mark's still the fit model. So he's getting a bit bigger maybe. I'm like a medium.
I'd like to say it's because I go to the gym, but it's probably not.
Well, it's interesting when I follow Liverpool Football Club, and the likes of Mo Salah just coming back from AFCON now, and he's played like 120-minute games, I think 4 or 5 in the space of 2 weeks, and now he's saying to Klopp, look, just put me out there, I'm ready to go again. And I'm thinking these guys are just like they're in fighting shape all the time. Like boxers would have like walking around shape, fighting shape.
It's like, here we go, he's got his Liverpool.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, nice.
He's a fan myself, mate.
Nice.
I know.
So I'm just constantly amazed that these guys can just peg it about and play 2 or 3 times a week. I mean, some players are like that. They're like Salah's like that. Mane's like that. I mean, Oxlade-Chamberlain I love, but he kind of breaks down every 10 minutes. So you have some players that have the mental commitment to it, but the bodies just don't want to keep up with them in terms of their fitness.
I think sometimes you can get like an injury and then that just like sets you off. So like Mane and Salah, I suppose Salah probably had his shoulder, but he's never really had anything with his legs or his body that way. But yeah, some people are just machines and they just keep churning. Like you say, Gareth Bale's like the opposite, but sometimes is it just a weakness in their body, or is it like some people just their bodies just won't let them? Do you know what I mean? You had a lot of that in your career. I never really got injured until like the end, and my hip gave way, so I've got the same thing as Andy Murray. I resurfaced my hip, so that's why I had to stop. But up until then, I never really missed games with injury. But Stephen, on the other hand, probably worked equally hard, if not harder. And he just kept sort of breaking down. His body just wouldn't let him.
A bit like kind of Oxlade-Chamberlain. I think you play 3 games and then you like miss 2 and then come back. They were never like serious injuries, but literally like my body just couldn't maintain it at that level. I never ever got to the bottom of the problem. Why was that happening?
And was that your knee?
Right, it turned out that I've actually not got a ACL on my left knee. It's just whittled away. But
right.
Because we were playing 5-a-sides at work. We used to have a work team. So every Thursday night we'd go and play together, and I'd have a pop in my knee, and it turned out to be I tore the cartilage in my knee, but the scan actually showed up that I never had an ACL. Like there was just like a little thin thread.
Wow.
And a previous injury, but I'd never had like a knee problem. So I was probably my hips and my hamstrings. So they were saying they were probably contributing to the issue.
Yeah, so, man, that's crazy. But it's a great story. I love the fact that you two gents have had the careers you've had, but also stayed mates and then business partners afterwards. So I like a brand that's got like a romantic story behind it, and they've also done well. So congrats and continue success.
Definitely that brand like story and where we've come from and what we're going to be doing going forward. So.
Yeah, no, and I think people gravitate to that as well. Just knowing that there's a story behind the brand, it kind of gives it a bit more purpose. That's beinspiredclothing.com, by the way, is a place that people can go and check the brand out. And we'll put all the links over on the show notes over at menswearstyle.co.uk. In the meantime, gents, thanks for indulging my 30 questions and taking time out.
Thanks very much.
And hope to see some of this stuff on Bobby Firmino soon. I heard he's already got it on, right?
He likes to wear.
And
Tino was sort of the first sort of people into it. I'm a bit gutted to see him back at Villa. He was brilliant the other night, but he was one I was buzzing to get on because he was my favourite player at the time. But,
oh yeah, Magic Man. That's what he's known as around this household. Magic's turned up. He's put another one in the box. That's how that's how the message goes. Are you talking about Coutinho? Yeah.
I find that amazing to never worked for him at Barcelona.
Oh mate, well. Yeah, let's do it. We'll have to record another hour's worth of why Coutinho hasn't worked out. All right, but I realise you guys have got a life to get on with. But great talking to you, gents, and speak to you soon.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks very much.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
You've been listening to the Menswear Style podcast. Be sure to head over to menswearstyle.co.uk for more menswear content and email info@menswearstyle.co.uk if you would like to be a future guest on the show. Finally, please help support the show by leaving a review on iTunes or wherever you're listening to this podcast. Until next time.